Hello students, so we are back. So in the next section, we'll look at this three-dimensional object called the prism, right? So a cuboid is actually a type of prism. What exactly is a prism? You can see the definition there. It is a uniform polygonal cross-section, right? So what happened is we have a cross-section. Doesn't necessarily need to be a square or a rectangle, but if it is, we'll get a cuboid. And then after that, we extend it out. Okay, we have a base, we extend it out, okay, uniformly. We will create something called the prism. Now, the cross section, right, and the base of a prism, they are polygons. So polygons will be things like triangles, quadrilaterals, pentagon, hexagon, heptagon, octagon, pentagon, decagon. You get the idea, right? So when we have something like this, we have a prism, right? So a cuboid is an example of a prism, right? So in the example, in this diagram, you can see the top and bottom pieces, okay, we call them the base, right? We call them the bases, right? The bases are parallel, so, and they're identical. They have to be similar in shape. If they are not, then we don't get a prism, right? Now, the cuboid also has a polygonal cross-section, right? So the cross-section, the shape, just like the base, they are all polygons. So any horizontal cross-section is parallel to the base, right? They are all the same identical shape. The faces, right? The faces other than the bases are the lateral faces, right? So what happened is we have the base and then the sides, they are lateral faces. And the shape of the lateral faces of cuboid is a rectangle, right? You can see it's a rectangle. So if you look at the side view, it's always a rectangle, right? Okay, so that's a prism. Now, of course, now we'll be dealing mostly with right prism in our syllabus. Right prism is where we take it that is 90 degrees. The entire object is upright. Okay, there are also other types of prism called the oblique prism, as you can see in the diagram. But we are not going to deal with them right now in our syllabus. You can investigate them a little bit further in the future, right? So I'll just move on here. So over here, you can identify which one is a prism. Okay, I can show you. This is you can pause the video first and try it, and then after compare your solution with mine. Right? Here we go. This is a prism, okay, and this is a oblique prism, right? Oblique prism. Is this a prism? Nah, this is not a prism. Okay, this is actually a pyramid. Then we have this is a prism. Okay, it's a right prism. It's fine, right? This is another oblique prism. This one looks a bit odd, right? So no, I don't think so. Aha, this one is interesting. It's a cylinder. No, a cylinder is not a prism. Although mathematically, you'll see later on that in a lot of ways where we do our calculations, they are quite similar. But because the base and the cross-section of a cylinder is a circle, and circle is not a polygon, therefore a circle is not classified as a prism. All right? So we will actually look at the formula now. Okay, so the formulas, okay, for the prism is actually the area, the volume is actually the area of the cross section. Area, my Apple Pencil, is it running out of battery? Oops, let me try again. Okay, Apple Pencil, are you working? Area of the cross section, okay, multiply with the length of the object, right? Or the height, depending on the orientation. Okay, so this is how it works. So total surface of a prism, right? What we can do is actually the 2 times, yeah, 2 times the area of cross section plus, right, plus the perimeter of cross section times, right, let me mark it out with brackets so that it's clearer, times the length. Okay, so if you sit down and think about it, it makes a lot of sense. If not, let's use an example and you will actually see how it works. So here we have a simple prism, a triangular one, and we are supposed to calculate the volume. So what we need to do in order to do this, the first thing we're going to need is actually the area of the cross section, right? So area of cross section, this is the most useful information we need when we are dealing with prism. In this case, the cross section is a right angle triangle, so it's half times 12 times 16. As you can see, half times base times height, right? So that will result in 8 times 96, right? Is my mental calculations okay? We have 8 times 12, yeah, 96. So write down the units, right? So we have the area of the cross section. So from here, we can get the volume, right? The volume will be equals to the area of the cross section times the length. So the length in this case is 9 centimeter, right? So that will result in 864 cubic centimeter, right? So that's the volume. Next, we want to find the total surface area. So part 2. Now the total surface area, let me write it down. Total surface area, right? This one will be 2 times the cross section plus the perimeter, right? The perimeter of the cross section, which will be 12 plus 16 plus 20, right? Times the length. Okay, so you work this one out, it's going to be 624 square centimeter. Okay. And that's how we actually find the area and the total surface area as the volume of a prism. All right. Okay, so we'll end this section here. In the next section, we'll be looking at cylinder. Have a nice day.